So welcome, good morning everyone, and we are on the RZNGMEN show again, and I have in studio sitting with me, James Fransz.
Hey, how's it going, bro?
Man, I'm excited to have you here. You made it here safe.
Yes.
You got that Harley outside. In fact, I heard you ride up. You know, before you even text me, I was like, there's a Harley, a big hog outside.
Yeah, it was a nice ride. I accidentally took the 15 instead of 215. That's why I said I was gonna be late.
Whoa, so you were way out west.
I was way out west.
Wow, Wild West is that big Harley. But how long have you been riding Harleys? I mean, we go talk about the Christian stuff, but I mean, this is RZNGMEN, right? This is where real men have real talk about real life.
Sure.
And that hog is a representation of what real men really like or supposed to want to ride. I'm a little big for a Harley. I'm a little afraid of a Harley, so I ain't gonna lie about that.
Yeah.
How'd you get into Harleys, man?
Yeah, that's a funny story, actually. True story. So I never really wanted a motorcycle. I never thought about it. I was homesick on a Saturday, and I watched Netflix, and I was watching a new show called Sons of Anarchy.
Oh my gosh, there it is.
I put it on, and one episode, and I was sold. And right after that, I got off the couch, and I went over to the Harley place, and I bought a bike.
Wow, and like that one that you have right now?
No, I've had 3 bikes, so I've kind of just gone through them. So I started at 19 or 18 years old, fresh out of high school, and and then just bought a bike. That day told the guy that I knew how to ride one, but I'd only rode dirt bikes. Is a little different. And so he said, okay. So I pushed the bike to the back of the store and watched YouTube videos on how to start it.
Oh man, are you serious?
Yeah, I had a skateboard helmet. I didn't even have a real helmet, and it was just bad. But so I rode in first gear the whole way home because I didn't know how to shift.
Man.
So
So how did you get this bike? This is bike number 3.
Yeah, bike number 3.
And does it have a name?
No name.
Oh, no name.
No
okay,
name.
So it's just a Harley outside.
That's right. Yeah. It was the bike that I wanted originally, but it was just way too expensive and too much power. You know, I knew I couldn't handle the weight of it. It's 1,000 pounds. So, 1,000 pounds under your legs just kind of sounds like you should know what you're doing.
Yeah, you would think.
Yeah.
Now, what's the scariest time you've had on that bike? I mean,
oh man. Probably just speeding tickets with police officers. No close accidents.
No,
seriously.
Now, Pastor James, you got a speeding ticket?
I did not get a speeding ticket.
Oh, nice.
No, I
you
did
just pray
not.
for him.
I just
Okay.
I wave.
Gotcha.
At every single one, but no, I'm just being honest. I try to keep my distance from cars.
Sure.
So
how does your wife feel about you being on a bike? Does she have any fear? Does she like it? Does she ride with you? How does that work out?
Yeah, so my wife, Brooke, she grew up with Harleys. Everything in the house is Harley. I mean, it's Harley rugs to coffee mugs to seat covers. I mean, everything at her grandparents is Harley. So so yeah, she grew up on a bike, getting rides to school on them, and so yeah, Well, I wouldn't say she got rides to school. I would just say once in a while.
I got you. I got you.
So
now, do you find that having that Harley, I mean, because it's a beautiful bike. Because I mean, I remember that day that you had it in the high school room.
Yeah,
I was concerned. I think we were having Infuse that week, same weekend,
with
and
children
the
in
kid,
there.
and I was like,
this is sketchy.
Yeah, well, I just didn't want the kids to mess with the bike because I know the bike is pretty nice, and Harleys are not cheap.
Yeah,
but we built barriers around it, and nobody was messing with the Harley. Not that day.
I love it.
The kids were looking at it. I was like, no, back up, Pastor James, we're gonna get you. And they were like, oh, that's James's bike. Yeah, because they all know you.
Yeah.
So do you find that bike gives you a chance to have ministry moments with people?
Definitely, I would say so. I'd say a big part of one of my favorite things to do is just go out and evangelize, and so oftentimes the motorcycle opens up conversation. Yeah,
I noticed you don't have it. Do you have any like Christian markings? I didn't think you had any crosses or anything that outrightly said "God on my Harley."
Nope.
Okay.
No.
Are you a member of the Black Sheep?
No, I'm not yet. They've been trying to get me involved. I'm just like, I'll get there.
I hear you. I like the Black Sheep.
I love them.
They're great guys. In fact, I need to have Bro Newman come on the show because Bro Newman is awesome dude. Is an awesome dude. Now, tell me, how long have you been in ministry? I mean, you're Pastor James to us. When did you know? How did you know the call? I mean, when did you know you're going to be a minister? I mean, because you're only how old?
25.
And you preach with fire with people who are like 105 don't have.
Okay.
So how did you get there? How did you know?
I kind of have a saying where it's like I never left youth ministry.
Wow.
I graduated high school and just stayed there. In a lot of ways, I kind of just felt the connection with youth, and I I was asked to fill in as a preacher for a few weeks because we couldn't find a pastor to hire at my previous church.
So at the youth group, you were asked to fill in.
Yeah.
So you were already
a
leader then. You already had your leadership saw you and groomed you then.
Right.
Wow.
Right.
Had you delivered a message before that
Nope.
time?
No. So I was just a drummer, but I mean, everybody on the platform is considered a leader, right? All musicians are leaders.
Sure.
So, I had some leader qualities, but I never preached before, and a good mentor of mine asked me to fill in while they were looking for, I guess, a replacement, and so I jumped in, and the first week I think we had a good turnout, and we had our numbers started growing and really quickly, and I think we doubled or tripled in size in a few weeks.
So what was the first sermon topic? I mean, I gotta know. I mean, were you afraid to get up there? I mean, were you shaking, or you just got no problem, just knocked it out?
Oh my gosh, no, I'm afraid of public speaking. Actually, not anymore, but I was in high school. I was afraid of public speaking. I used to hide in the bathroom, didn't want to present. Yeah, I worried too much about what people thought.
But you would never know now.
No,
you've been delivered from all that.
Yeah, delivered from that for sure. I think but that's because I was putting man on the throne, instead of Jesus. It wasn't like I was using my giftings in the right way. My first message, I had to ask Brooke about this. It was on Jeremiah chapter 1, and talking about his father Hilkiah. Hilkiah was a priest, and back in the day, you would live out your parents' lineage of what they did.
Yeah, exactly.
And God had a different plan for Jeremiah, and it wasn't to stay within the synagogue, but to go out into the streets, and just the tension of doing what you knew your whole life you were probably going to do, but then God calls you to do something else. Different. Yeah, a little deep for an 18-year-old still figuring it out, but
it's prophetic, right?
Yeah,
I mean,
definitely.
It's very prophetic because before then, what did you think that you wanted to do before you walked up on the platform? I know it was drums, or may have been music related. What did you think it was going to be before now?
Sure. Well, I was pursuing a professional career in skateboarding.
Wow.
Yeah, I had tons of sponsors. I was amateur considered. Traveled. Competed, was making money, not a lot of money, but I was making enough to where it was almost like a promising career. And so I moved up north to Sacramento, and thought that was the right door. It's kind of like, all right, mom and dad, graduate high school, and I'm gonna go figure it out. And then the doors just closed real quick,
Really?
Yeah. It's interesting. Well, I had some promises, if you move up to the right area and you're surrounded by the right people, then, there's potential for a career. And so I moved up to Sacramento and stayed up there for probably lasted 4 months.
Wow.
Yeah. But we had I had a career promised to me, and basically I went up there, and it just didn't work out. My lifestyle didn't fit in with the lifestyle that they were living out, and
got it. Okay.
We didn't want to put down any companies' names, but I would say that it opened my eyes for sure. Definitely wanted to come home and reconsider what I was going to pursue with my life.
Okay, so coming off of that,
sure.
What did you actually were looking at asking the Lord for? I mean, what do you say, Lord? I mean, you got me all the way up here. I'm away from my family, and in some cases, I'm 6 hours away from home, 8 hours away from home.
Right.
I want to be the skateboarder, and now what?
Yeah, I would say my relationship with God was, raised in a Christian home, fourth generation pastor in my bloodline. Yeah.
No, wait. Okay. Your dad and or mom?
My dad.
Your dad's pastor?
My dad was a worship pastor for the Vineyard Church.
I did not know that.
Yep.
Wow.
So he was on the albums and all that stuff.
Because wait, he sings?
Yeah, my dad was a worship pastor, so he was on all the worship albums.
Because I know your dad's good people. I've seen him play guitar.
Yeah.
Outstanding guy. He's in my small group for Keep Your Love On at church.
Yep.
And he's just the quietest, humblest guy you'd ever want to meet.
He's a fireball. I love him.
Wow. Yeah. We have to be, because your mom's a fireball.
Yeah,
dude.
She is.
Oh my gosh. I don't mess with Shar.
Come on now.
I don't mess with Shar.
Yeah.
How you doing? How you, Miss Fransz? Good to see you. So, can you pray for me? Yeah, okay. Just don't hit me. I'm good.
Love it.
She hit me with. I'm gonna save that story for when we're off air. But she hit me with something a couple months ago at an infuse.
Yeah.
Man, I was like,
Mama say, Mama saw, Mama saw.
Exactly. You can't tell her the wrong story. It's always got to be true. Otherwise, she's like, I'm going to see it right through. The Lord's going to reveal it. You're not telling me the truth.
Wow. Hello.
So, I'm going to leave that alone.
Hello.
So, what's now? What's up? What is the Lord telling you now to do in your career? Because I know you're youth pastoring for Centerpoint. Mm-hmm. It's on fire over there. That team is already on fire. The worship is outstanding. I still remember that day I texted you about what happened at worship, because my kids came back and they were just blown away.
Yeah.
Worship, the Lord fell. The house is on fire. Prayer. What do you do now? How do you guys top that? Where are you going in ministry?
That's a good question. Man, I would say that in order to have, I believe what a healthy ministry would look like is when you create a value for the presence of God.
Sure.
That has to become a value. And oftentimes we don't really have language for it. So a lot of people think it's good vibes that they surround themselves and they're drawn to being at the ministry of whatever, a youth ministry, a men's ministry, whatever it is. If you could create a value for the presence of God, you're creating a worship atmosphere. That creates good soil for things to grow, right? In the supernatural and not in supernatural. So I guess my assignment is walking into this next season is I want to see more of worship, more of intimacy within worship, and creating that a culture where we value the presence of God. From there, instead of going for great experiences, go for great encounters. With God. Yeah, that's good. Because I know in youth ministry we can hype up the games and I love all the fun stuff, but man, I think if we can create an atmosphere by facilitating the presence of God in the room, right? Yeah. And our kids are getting opened up to they're building their theology. They're saying, man, I had one of our students who's she's a 7th grader, and he told his parents, he said, I just looked around the room and I saw God was just ministering to people, and God is just so good. He's in 7th grade, but he said God is so good. Yeah. Like he's building his theology off of experiences that he's experiencing in the room.
Well, I got to share with you. Yeah. From that night, it was probably December when we text and you guys had that that supersized experience at that one time. I know there's been other experiences. I mean, this one sticks out to me as a parent, because when your kids come back and that's all they are is on fire with what just happened. Yeah. I mean, I have my 13-year-old. He's never really been connected with that ministry. I have to almost threaten him to go to youth ministry. Yeah. Versus Evan and Ryan, please, they can't get out of the car fast. I'm like, can I stop the car first? I mean, can I really? I mean, I like to stop the car from rolling before you just tuck and roll and you're out the car. Right. Because they can't get there fast enough. Caden, he's a quiet kid. And for him to come in, it was life-changing for him. He was like, Dad, there was like 5 or 6 people. They prayed for me. And other people prayed. And it was just awesome. Yeah. It was like this shock of, was I really loved enough or special enough for people to really think that they could do that for me? And he's a quiet kid. But he'll talk your head off if you kind of get to him. And I've talked to Kyle before. I said, look, Kyle, I need some help. And I've had, great success kind of getting him outside of the youth environment. But Caden's that kid that's quiet. He doesn't like crowds. He likes the one-on-one stuff. Yeah. But every one of these kids, from Jackson all the way to Caden, we're excited about you. Whenever they see Kyle, they're there. And I know even seeing Brian, they're excited. Right. How do you foster that? Where do you think that comes from? How do you develop that? I mean, because these kids, in some cases, that you may represent the only God they'll ever see. You and Kyle and the rest of the team.
Good word. Yeah. What
do you do? How do you? What does parents need to do to help that?
Yeah, I would say ministry continues, and that's such a good question. I would say that what you're trying to facilitate at home, I want to make sure that I'm contributing to that. That I'm sterizoing that. I'm helping build that, strengthen that. So it's not that I'm working against you and trying to be the cool youth worker.
Wait, I'm not cool, Dad?
No, you're cool. No.
No, you can tell the truth. I'm
no,
good.
Come on. No, I mean, what I mean by that is like, you have rules in your household, and, let's just say your rule is you got to be in bed by 9.
Yeah.
Now, I have the option to say, I could build camaraderie in one way, which would be a bad way, by saying, okay, so he says you have to be in bed by 9, but he can't make you go to sleep, at 9, and try to, come off as the friend vibe, but, or I could say, you know what, we need to honor our mother and father, right? You got to learn about authority at a young age, right? Because it will follow you the rest of your life, and really try to come alongside what you're doing, and not tear it down, but help building up.
But you're doing that, because I noticed when we do prayer with the children at night, and even Ryan last night was praying for some kid who had a seizure at his school, and I'm like, okay, we pray. At home, okay, but there's other experiences that you as a worship leader, you as a pastor, as a friend of his, someone he looks up to as a mentor, I can't reach him. So obviously you and the rest of the team there in CSM at Centerpoint, they're reaching him. Yeah. And I tell you, I'll give you the plug. So ladies and gentlemen, you're listening to the RZNGMEN show, and I'm your host, Craig Carlisle. And in studio, you've got James Fransz, one of our youth pastors at Centerpoint Church. And if you, as a parent, if you live in the West Coast area, anywhere from Riverside down to San Diego, drive far, just drive. I know there's a lot of other churches where God lives, but I can tell you, my kids go to Centerpoint, and they are just taken with the ministry of Centerpoint's youth. Centerpoint Student Ministries, I believe, is awesome. And it's making a difference in my home. So I can tell you, if you ever wondered if it's worth it, if you ever thought about the fact that are you making a difference? I can tell you it is. There's 4 kids for sure that I live, that I shepherd, that wouldn't have it any other way. Because you know where I come from, my wife passed away, going to be 4 years in the end of February. And Centerpoint was the church where we stayed. And they stayed only because of Kids World. Yeah. That's what drew us, right? Because all my kids were Kids World age.
Right.
And so now they're matriculating out right up into CSM. So there's been no drop off. So, some programs, one's good and one's not.
Sure.
My kids love it.
That's awesome.
And listening to you minister on the, obviously big church, right?
Sure, yeah.
Is awesome because the adults need to hear that. They need to understand that there's another generation, like it was prophesied during Seek Week.
Totally.
That if the older generation doesn't want to get a hold of this thing, there's a whole other generation coming behind.
Right.
That can just flow right on with you. And but the blessing in that. So if you listen to what was really said by the prophet, it wasn't a threat. It was, there's 2 generations that are a lockstep, and we can get this thing together.
That's right.
And keep it together and build on what we've already been being taught by Pastor Hansen. And then can you imagine the impact, the life-changing connections that we're making?
Right. Absolutely.
How do you manage newlywed, church, personal building and edification?
Sure. And
dating your wife? How do you do that? What do you do?
Man, that's a great question, and I wish I had probably a better answer than what I'll give you. But I'd say I'm figuring it out. Okay. I would say that I tried to not give my wife my leftovers.
Yeah, that's a good word there. That's a good word there.
Yeah. I tried to put boundaries up,
Sure. Sure.
You look at Genesis, right? And God spoke to Adam, and he said, you can eat anything in here but, this tree, right?
Yeah.
And then right after he said that, he said, it's not good for you to be alone.
Ooh, yeah. Yeah.
So he created boundaries, but he also gave him a blessing.
Sure.
And oftentimes we're waiting for our blessings, but we haven't put up boundaries. God doesn't want to give us our blessing right now, because if we don't put up our boundaries, then we're gonna crush our blessing that he has for us.
That's good word.
And so I had to put up boundaries. I would say, making sure that I come home, after a late night at office, and I'm not, I think ministry never stops. Right.
No.
And so,
but neither does your marriage either. Right?
That's right. So, and that is my first ministry.
Yes, sir.
That's something that I definitely learned in premarital counseling.
Sure.
That I'm the same guy when I'm on the platform and when I'm at home. Nothing changes, right?
Yeah.
And you're still leading your marriage.
Yeah. And I noticed that the last couple times you've been on platform, I thought it was cool. You put up pictures of your wife, and you
Yeah.
And that you make a point to mention her name. And I think it's awesome. I mean, not so much so that the church is online and on TV, but you're always making sure people know, hey, I'm James Fransz. I'm Pastor James Fransz. I'm married. I'm a husband. You know what I'm saying? And I love my wife. And this is who my wife is. A lot of times we don't give air coverage like that. We just kind of go out and just do our thing, and that's just me. And oh, by the way, I'm married.
Sure.
You know, that sets a boundary. So you're already doing that.
Right.
You know, and I give you some sage wisdom is that you continue to date your wife all the way through the time that it's either one of you take your last breath to your death do you part. Because a lot of times as men, we don't date our wife. We don't do the same thing that got us into the relationship.
That's true.
After we say I do.
That's true.
You know, want to kick your feet up on the couch and kick back. And, you know, Janet actually say, you know, if I didn't cook for us, we starved to death. You know, what have you done for me lately kind of thing. But if you continue the same things that you did to make her fall in love with James, the skateboarder, you know, say the biker, and you're the same guy.
Yeah.
So as life tends to change and shift, and you have children, you've had, you know, your wife's had some health concerns that you guys are praying through and working through, and it's there. It's not so much of, oh, what do I do now? It's what am I still fostering?
Absolutely.
When you're listening to the RZNGMEN show, James Fransz is with me in studio today. Tell me about your blog. And we were there for a second.
The blog?
Tell me about that book. And you were managing your time.
Right.
If you had time right now to focus on a little bit of time, what would you write? What would you tell people about right now? If you had even had to go back and write something that you were to go back and read, what would it be?
Man, I would say just talking about Jesus, right?
Okay.
Just making Jesus the focus.
Yeah.
I think so much in our culture we live in, everyone is trying to climb a ladder to elevate themselves.
Sure.
And that at the cost of cutting other people down to make themselves more significant, or that they feel that they're more valuable when they see other people are broken.
Sure.
And so in a lot of ways, I think when we can just elevate the name of Jesus, right? When we can just lift him up, everything that he has, we get, you know, when he shows up.
Yeah.
So in a lot of ways, I think we get so caught up in language that we don't want to say it's sin anymore. We want to say you have problems, you know, or issues, but let's just address the elephant in the room, right? It's sin, right? You know, and let's talk about Jesus. Let's talk about what he did. You know, he's the same yesterday, today, and forever, right? And so his character should never change, right? So he should be the solution to, I think, and I believe, whatever you're facing.
Well, what's good about that, I say odd because there's so many of the millennial generation like yourself, right, that want to get to the fancy speech and want to get to the fancy words and make it sound sugary sweet. But you've just gone back to the old school and basically said, you know, in the spiritual realm, it's legal. So from a legal standpoint, you want to keep the language solid. Let's tell the truth.
Yeah, absolutely. I would say that, you know, culture is always changing, right? The world is always changing. Sure. Even the message of what the world is saying is changing, but the gospel message never changes. It stays the same, right?
Yeah.
And it's the only thing that is absolute truth, right? It's the only thing that we can tangibly hold on to that will never have to have another edition written or altered. It's the only thing that we can hold on to. It's our Dora Explorer map, right? When we're in times of trouble, we pull out the Bible, right? And that's our map to navigate through life.
That's outstanding.
Yeah.
As a parent, how do we help you? How do we help the ministry? How do we help CSM? I mean, besides getting the kids there on time and picking them up on time. I mean, you know,
Timothy, right, in 1 Timothy, it talks about that we should pray without ceasing. That we should continue to pray for those who are in leadership and in positions of leadership. And so I think all I could really ask is that if I come up in your brain, you know, and you have a thought where you think of me, just say a quick prayer for me. That's what I love about you, Craig. Every time I see you, you walk by and you just say a quick prayer for me. You're just always covering us in prayer. It's not like, you know, not all of us have lavishes of money where we could cover the bill, but we could cover each other in prayer.
Sure, amen.
You know, so that's all I could ask for.
That's what we need to do. So we've heard it now.
Right.
So parents, you need to pray for your leadership, not just the CSM leadership, but our leadership as a whole, Centerpoint Church, the Free Methodist Church, churches in general, whatever church you find yourself in, or if you don't have a church. I mean, if you're listening to the program, no matter where you are,
Yeah.
Find a church. Ask the Lord to pray and send you to a church body that definitely has your best interests at heart, who serves God, that shows the word there at all points, that cover their people in prayer like we're going to do. And like we try to do at Center Point Church. Absolutely. Again, I'm not advocating that Center Point is the only place. I'm just saying from where we go, it is the place for us.
Right.
So we're going to help pray that everyone else is listening finds a place that they can call home, finds a church that they can be excited of, and work and serve in, not just sit on the pew or in the back of the room or just inside and stand there or sit outside on the patio. Actually get involved in the programming. Wherever your church is, give your time, your gifts, and your talent.
Yeah.
Would you do me a favor? Would you pray for the people on our way out?
Sure. Absolutely. Father God, I just thank you so much for everyone that is listening right now. Lord, I just pray, Lord, that he who has ears, let them be open, Lord, that we would be able to just retain maybe anything that I said that or that Craig was saying, Lord, that would speak to the individuals' hearts, Lord, that are listening. I pray, Lord, that if they have kids that are in our school districts, Lord, I pray, Lord, that, God, we are continuing to believe, God, that your presence is going to be up front in all of our school districts. Lord, that there's a third grade awakening, God, coming. Lord, there's revival coming to our schools. I just pray for the individual that's listening, that you would know that it's not the end. Even if you're walking through the valley, God is faithful to walk you through it, right? Psalms 23, though I walk through the valley in the shadow of death, I will fear no evil, for you are with me. God's not going to dump you in your valley. He's going to walk you through it. I bless you. I bless you with strength to continue this week. I bless you with just over your finances. I bless you to have the best week's sleep of your life. With no nightmares, no night terrors. I bless you to love. I bless you with continuing to walk through this journey and knowing that you're not alone, and that God is with you. Who can stand against you? We bless you in Jesus' name. Amen.
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 Love you, brother.
I love you too. Thanks, bro.
You're listening to Raising Men with my dad and your host, Craig Carlisle, on WKBY 1080 AM.
This is Craig Carlisle, the host of the Raising Men Show, and I'm also an executive producer of the independent feature film Restored Me.
I lost everything for something I didn't do. What type of God is gonna watch a man get up on his feet and then kick him right back down to get drugged through the dirt again?
It's a powerful, feel-good dramedy that centers around a young man trying to restore his relationship with his young daughter and her mother.
Talk to him just like you're talking to me.
Where have you been, kid? These people take communion from me. I am their God.
This film speaks to restoring your faith and pushes a bold message of positivity and motivation. The cast includes Gary Owen, Bill Duke, William Lee, Matt Gerald, Richard T. Jones, Malik Yobo, Yancey Arias, and Bo Casper Smart, just to name a few. Restored Me is available on over 100 digital markets, including iTunes, Amazon, and on demand from your local cable provider. Buy it, rent it. Either way, I'm asking you to watch it. It'll bless your life.